Good afternoon, folks. In today's video, we're going to get after Detroit Lions news and rumors. And the news part, the Lions signed a linebacker, so we're going to get into that linebacker, what he brings to this team, what it means for the Lions in training camp, and all of that. Lions got OTAs starting tomorrow. We're going to get into those OTAs. What are things to watch for? There's an article dropped. We're going to go over that one, and I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I do concur with that. Lions fans are pretty vulgar per study. Can't wait to talk about that one. That is hilarious if you ask me. And we're going to get into the stake in the heart of the Trey Hendrickson trade. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Why is that? Because we drop news and rumors every single day. Now we're doing it twice a day, except for today, because it's my birthday. Let's get this video started. The Detroit Lions signed linebacker Zach Cunningham, an off-the-ball linebacker and a former four-star recruit who attended Vanderbilt from 2013 through 2016. Cunningham has played more than 5,300 defensive snaps in his professional career, notching 709 total tackles, 31 for loss, 23 pass deflections, 6.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and an interception. He spent his first full seasons in Houston, Texas, before he was waived in 21, subsequently claimed by the Tennessee Titans. Cunningham stayed with the Titans 22 season, and later joined the Philadelphia Eagles in 23 and Denver Broncos in 2024. What do I think about Zach Cunningham? I think that I have no problem with the Detroit Lions making this signing at all. I think that for the Lions, they're trying to get all the best, the 90 players, right, you have in training camp, you have in OTAs, and they want to have the best roster depth-wise all around. And he's going to go into a room that's pretty stacked, linebacking core. It really is stacked. You got a lot of quality players there. Alex Anzalone, you have Jack Campbell, you have Derek Barnes, you have Malcolm Rodriguez. The list goes, that's just, Malcolm Rodriguez could be your backup, and then Cunningham comes in here, and they got some ton of young guys in there as well. So for the Lions, I think this is a fine move. I have a zero problem with Detroit making this signing. I'm not saying this is going to be a crazy signing, right? This is not going to be a crazy signing. This is not blockbuster signing. It's a depth piece. But guess what? Depth helps you win football games. We've seen it last year, so I have zero problem with that. Folks, hit that like button. I'm trying to get to 300 likes. It's my birthday. It's an easy birthday present to smash that like button. I turned 40. Holy smokes. Absolutely crazy how times fly that way. Now let's go ahead and jump into the other news articles really quick here. And one of the Detroit Lions joint practices, this just came out, is versus the Miami Dolphins. And that is really interesting because it's actually an opponent you don't see in preseason that much. I can't even remember the last time that has occurred. And so that will be fun to watch, and go to the practice, right? Go to it and see the practices, not just your Detroit Lions, but other players as well. And what I love about joint practices, and I think a lot of people can concur about this, including Dan Campbell, because he's a big into that, is it helps see where they are versus another team, right? It helps compare them to another squad. When these guys are going after it in training camp and they're hitting each other, as you know, tempers fly. You have Dan Skipper, who mauls people, right? So then you have a chance to hit another team and not your teammates. I love joint practices. I think it's great. I'm going to try to go to the joint practices. You can see the Lions and the Dolphins. Why not see multiple teams, right? I mean, it's not like it's not all the time you can do that. So go up there and enjoy it. There's some quality players. So, and I'm sure this year at preseason, you're going to need tickets at training camp and all of that stuff. So make sure when they do come out to get those tickets for training camp if you don't want to miss out. It'll be fun to go there. Finally, can we put a stake in this Trey Hendrickson nonsense that we have been saying we would love to have him, but we know it's not going to happen because Brad Holmes is literally, I don't know how many times he could spell it out. He's not making that move. Dave Birket finally goes to the realistic here, and I concur with him. The media wants to know, will the Lions make the move for Trey Hendrickson? Were the odds favorite to trade for him? That's not going to happen, though. Just because we have an opening, we have money, it doesn't mean that we're going to do that. And this is what Dave Birket says, and this is what Brad Holmes has been saying. Dave Birket says, I haven't gotten any indication that the Lions are a serious player to add Hendrickson. In fact, all signs point to the opposite. Hendrickson wants a contract to make him one of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. And for that price, $35 million annually doesn't jive well with how the Lions are operating financially. They intend to pay Aiden Hutchinson. I expect it to happen relatively soon. Give them several more of their own draft picks to have their own kind of money allocated to a second defensive end. We have the money now. Yes, they can make the move, right? We can make the move because we do have the money now, but they're not thinking about the right now. They're thinking, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road. They're thinking about contracts. And Brad Holmes, as much as we would love it, I think we'd be ecstatic. It's not going to happen, and we just got to be realistic about that. So when we see these articles, it's nice to go ahead and put a stake into it a little bit and go into a different direction there. And so we stop having these things. I didn't even want to put anything in the title or the description about Trey Hendrickson because I'm tired of it. Smash that like button, folks. Smash it. Let's get to 300 likes. And, hey, it's my B-Day. Why not? Get a B-Day gift. Let's keep on going here. This is hilarious. Okay, so a study finds out that Detroit Lions fans are the 10th most vulgar fan base in football. A new study from Bookies analyzes users' comments from each 32 official NFL subreddit posted since the start of 2024 and NFL season and calculate the fans swear the most. The New York Jets rank first with 15.4% posts containing swear words. Robert Saleh may have had things to do with that because he sucked. And Detroit Lions came up at number 10, 10.3 posts containing swear words. I think this is hilarious because it's 100% true. This fan base is hardcore. This is a hardcore fan base, and they will get on you the good, bad, and the ugly. That's just the way that it is, right? We want to win football. But not only that, but our fans are pushing back because we have been crapped on for so long by the media. We've been crapped on so long by other teams. We've been crapped on so long by other fan bases and by our own fans that we're starting to get a little bit, no, we're fighting back. We're gonna battle this. This is not the same old Lions anymore. And I understand. I totally understand. Last year, every time I would go on a different podcast for another football team, because I'd get invited to weekly, all the people would always say their team was going to win, and they said no, Lions would lose. It seemed like every single time I went on there, went 15-2. So the Lions fan base. The Lions fan base is just starting to. They're fighting back, in my opinion. They want to be a little bit scrappy because it's getting. The idea of being mocked all the time gets old for them. And so that's what I think it is. Next article here talks about, OTAs and what's going to be happening. You don't need to read it. I haven't even really looked at what they say, so we're just going to discuss what I think you should look for. You go to read the article as well from The Athletic. But there is one thing they put in here is in the coaching staff, and that's 100%. That's probably the number one thing that I will be watching is how... or reading is how our offense and defensive coordinators and how they're coaching and how they're developing. Shep, right? How is he doing? I think he's going to be a fantastic defensive coordinator. I do. I thought the moment that he came here to Detroit, I said he's a guy that's going to be eventually the defensive coordinator. Ended up being the case. So watching some of these coaches, and not just the main coaches of coordinators, but down coaches as well, because we lost a lot of staff. Watching for that. When watching for this Lions offense, and I want to see if there's any sort of hiccup, right? We got a new offensive coordinator. He said that he's not going to change much. If that's the case, that's really good news, right? You want to see this offense just be still crisp. They're very crisp with Ben Johnson. What do I mean by crisp? When you're doing a play, every single player was exactly where the route needed to be. It was timing and everything was done phenomenal. Can that be the same here? It's a lot of the same players are coming back, right, from the offense. It's not much change, so get the verbiage down if there is going to be new verbiage, right? And there'll be different play callies. That's perfectly fine. But want to see how this offense, can it continue to be good like it was last year? Because if the offense doesn't miss a beat, I think the defense could elevate itself significantly. That's just how, from the injuries as well as Shep. I do like Shep. I'll also be looking for the offensive line. Okay, so I want to see who's going to be on this offensive line. Who's the starters, the backups, all of that. It's just one OTA part, right? We got a lot to continue to go, but I'd like to see where Ratledge is at, right? Where Mahogany is at. Where's Glasgow at? Frazier at. I already know K.U. Deosiki. He's a backup. We know that. We know Taylor Decker. We know Frank Ragnow, Panay Sewell. We know all that. It's the guys that we don't know. I think Sorsdale's getting cut, so I'm not really paying attention to what he's doing right there, to be honest with you. Then I want to see the secondary and DJ Reed, because we lost Carlton Davis in free agency, and he was really good. He was good for the Lions. So I want to see how he is in that spot, because Carlton Davis was a big piece of the Lions' success last year. I thought he was really good. So I want to see how DJ Reed is in there and performing with the rest of the secondary. We got a lot of new secondary pieces. We got players returning from health. Aiden Hutchinson. We just want to see, just him being out there is going to be epic, right? So I just want to see him out there practicing. Hey, we love you, 97. Jamison Williams, just like it says here, I talked about it before. OC has been bragging about Jamison Williams since he has been here, and he expects a uptick for JMO. Is this going to show in OTAs? Because if it is, that's interesting, right? That's really interesting, because he's going to, I never believed the trade rumors. I thought they were ridiculous. And this will pretty much put that to bed, right? Because if he comes out and he's balling, just the articles will stop. We could finally just end it, because the articles are going to be coming out to the trade deadline, which is stupid. But JMO, can't wait to watch what he can do. Folks, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. It's my birthday, and I'm a party like it's my birthday. Adios.